For more than 6 decades, I have dedicated my life to medicine. And now, at 92 years old, I can say with absolute confidence, the greatest loss an aging person can face is not memory, not hearing, but the strength and stability in their legs. When the legs begin to fail, everything else slowly unravels. Your freedom to move, your independence, your sense of safety, and even the simple joy of walking. What makes this so concerning is that it rarely happens all at once. It starts quietly with little signs that most people dismiss. Finding it harder to rise from a chair, feeling out of breath after just a few stairs, stumbling more often, or feeling pain with every step. But what troubles me most is not just these warning signs, it's the fact that many older adults unknowingly repeat daily habits that quietly weaken their legs over time. I know this because I once made those very same mistakes myself. For years, I thought, well, this is just what aging feels like. It wasn't until I began studying the real science behind muscle loss that I discovered the truth. Age is only one piece of the puzzle. The rest comes from unhealthy, hidden habits that slowly drain your muscle power, limit circulation, and speed up physical decline. Studies show that more than 60% of people over the age of 70 lose a significant amount of leg strength, a decline strongly linked to falls, hospital visits, and even early death. So, if you've noticed yourself feeling more tired when you walk, losing balance more often, struggling with weak legs, or finding stairs more challenging than before, this is your body's alarm bell. Today, I'm going to share the 6 biggest and most common mistakes that silently destroy leg strength as we age. And more importantly, I'll show you what you can do instead to protect yourself. And stay with me until the end, because I'll also reveal a simple, natural, and budget-friendly recipe that I personally rely on to keep my legs strong even at 92. It all starts with a powerful combination of nutrients that strengthen muscles, boost circulation, and allow me to stand confidently on my feet every single day. Stay with me, because this might be exactly what you've been missing to regain strength you thought was gone forever. Mistake number 1. Sitting for long periods without moving your legs. This is, without question, one of the most common and most destructive mistakes older adults make. And the worst part is that almost nobody notices it happening. A typical day goes like this. You sit to watch TV, then have lunch, then take a nap, and before you know it, the entire day has passed with barely any movement. Sometimes you only get up to use the bathroom, and that's it. It feels normal, but it's far from harmless. In older age, long hours of sitting come at a high cost. When you stop using your leg muscles, the body starts treating them as unnecessary, and anything the body considers unnecessary begins to waste away. This process is called sarcopenia, the slow, almost invisible loss of muscle mass. But that's not the only problem. Long periods of sitting also slow blood flow, causing blood to pool in the feet, veins to expand, and oxygen to reach the muscles much more slowly. This leads to heavy legs, stiffness, and that uncomfortable difficulty when standing up after sitting for a long time. One study, published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, showed that older adults who spend more than 6 hours sitting each day have a 44% higher risk of losing leg function, even if they exercise at other times during the day. For me, everything changed with one small decision: to stand up every 40 to 50 minutes. Even if it was just to walk around the house or stand for a couple of minutes. I also started adding small, simple movements during the day, like standing up and sitting back down in a chair without using my hands, or taking a slow 5-minute walk down the hallway after lunch. This isn't about intense workouts or heavy gym sessions. It's about sending your body the message that your legs are still important, and you still need them strong. Mistake number 2. Not eating enough protein to maintain muscle strength. This mistake is even more common than most people realize, and I personally made it for years. For a long time, I thought I was eating healthy enough. A little rice, some beans, a few vegetables, and I assumed that was all my body needed. But after turning 70, I started to notice a steady drop in my leg strength, even though I had no major illnesses. That's when I realized what was happening. My muscles simply weren't getting enough of the building blocks they needed. As we get older, our bodies require more protein just to maintain what we used to preserve effortlessly. Muscle synthesis slows with age, which means muscles start breaking down even when we're not exercising. In other words, even if you're doing nothing wrong, you're still losing strength, unless you give your body enough protein to rebuild what's being lost every day. The problem is that many older adults simply don't eat enough. Avoid meat completely or follow an unbalanced diet, and this opens the door to sarcopenia. Study published in Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed less than 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight per day had a much higher risk of muscle weakness, loss of balance, and frequent falls. The good news is that this problem is surprisingly easy to fix. When I personally increased my protein intake, I noticed a clear difference in my leg stability within just a few weeks. Now, I make sure to include protein in every single meal throughout the day, simply and naturally. For breakfast, I usually have a boiled egg with a slice of white cheese, or natural yogurt mixed with oats. At lunch, I always add a portion of lean protein, grilled chicken, baked fish, or even a bit of ground beef with vegetables. During the day, I might snack on a handful of nuts or a slice of whole grain bread with hummus. Dinner is light but nourishing, sometimes chicken soup, sometimes oatmeal cooked with milk. The goal here is not excess, but giving the body exactly what it needs to stay strong, functional, and full of life. Without protein, the very foundation of your body begins to crumble, and the first thing to go is usually your legs. Mistake number 3. Eating foods that trigger inflammation and block circulation. For many years, I ate the same way most people do. White bread for breakfast, rice and pasta at lunch, soda on the weekends, and an occasional sweet cookie in the afternoon. Nothing that seemed too extreme. But over time, I began to notice my legs felt heavier, they tired more quickly, and it took longer for me to recover after even a short walk. Eventually, I discovered that the problem was on my plate. The truth is that many of the foods we get used to eating as we age are actually major sources of inflammation. They silently damage circulation, increase swelling in the legs, lower the oxygen supply to the muscles, and make tissues weaker and more fragile. I'm talking about refined flour products, too much sugar, fried foods, processed meats, sodas, packaged sweets, and ready-made frozen meals. These foods harm the body from the inside, even if you don't feel the effects right away. In older age, this kind of diet is even more destructive because the body is less efficient at detoxifying and repairing itself. The result becomes visible: weaker legs, more stiffness, inflamed blood vessels, and less energy for daily activities. A study published in the Journal of Inflammation Research found that older adults with a diet rich in ultra-processed foods had significantly higher levels of inflammatory markers in their muscles, as well as worse results in walking and strength tests. For me, the change started with small swaps. Instead of white bread, I chose real whole grain bread with just a few natural ingredients. I replaced sugar with fruit, a banana, or even a stewed apple. I began to favor real whole foods, root vegetables, leafy greens, eggs, olive oil, and whole grains. And I gradually cut out everything that didn't give me energy, but only left me feeling heavy and tired. Within just a few days, I noticed a difference: less swelling, lighter steps, and even less pain in my knees. It's simple. If you want your legs to keep supporting you, stop feeding them the very things that weaken them from the inside. Your blood circulation will thank you. Your muscles will respond, and strength will begin to return. Many older adults think they are active simply because they do small tasks with their hands: cooking, sweeping the floor, writing, knitting, sorting papers, or even scrolling on the phone. Yes, these activities keep you moving, but they almost completely neglect your legs, and that's where the real problem begins. Leg strength is only maintained when you truly use your legs. That means standing up, walking, climbing stairs, squatting, and putting weight on them, even if only for a few minutes each day. Without this kind of movement, the muscles that support your hips, thighs, knees, and core slowly start to shut down and grow dangerously weak. Your body gets the message that those muscles aren't needed and begins to save energy by reducing their size. The result is slower walking, weaker legs, and a much higher risk of tripping or falling. One study published in the journal Gerontology found that older adults who were active with their hands but didn't intentionally move their legs lost lower body function much faster, like especially in the thigh and ankle stabilizing muscles. My own change was simple but consistent. I started making time twice a day to move my legs on purpose. In the morning, I take a light walk around the house or yard. At the end of the day, I do 3 or 4 simple exercises. Standing up and sitting down from a chair without using my hands, stepping up and down from a single step, or even marching in place for a minute. This is not a workout, and it's not about going to the gym. It's simply a way to remind my body every day. These legs are still important, and when your body understands this message, it begins to respond with renewed strength. Another mistake many people make is ignoring posture and proper body alignment when walking, sitting, or standing up. This might sound like a small detail, but as the years go by, it becomes surprisingly expensive for your health. Many believe that posture is just about appearance, about looking straight and confident. But in reality, posture is the very foundation of how strength is distributed throughout your body. When that foundation is off balance, the legs are often the first to suffer. With age, people tend to hunch forward, let their shoulders drop, or shift their weight unevenly to one side. Some drag their feet, others push themselves up from a chair with too much effort, or lean heavily on one leg while standing. These might look like tiny habits, but they slowly put extra stress on your knees, hips, and calf muscles. The result is pain, joint wear and tear, loss of balance, and a gradual decline in physical strength. One study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that older adults with chronically poor posture were up to 48% more likely to lose muscle mass in their legs and experience falls, even in familiar places like their own homes. I had to relearn how to hold my body correctly, starting with very small changes. I began sitting with both feet planted firmly on the floor, standing up by pushing through my legs rather than my hands, walking with my shoulders gently open and my gaze forward, and keeping a slight tension in my core. These small adjustments gradually reset my whole posture and gave my legs back their natural role as the main support of my body. If you feel that your legs are letting you down, don't just focus on what you eat or what exercises you do. Pay attention to how you move. Sometimes the problem is not true weakness, but a loss of alignment. Another mistake is believing that it's too late to rebuild strength in your legs. This is one of the most dangerous ideas of all because it doesn't come from the body, it comes from the mind. After a fall, constant pain, or simply feeling exhausted from walking, many older adults start to think that nothing can be done, that weakness is permanent, and that training the legs is pointless. Unfortunately, this thought becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The truth is that while the body does age, it never completely loses its ability to adapt and respond. Even in your 80s, 90s, or beyond 100, your muscles are still capable of becoming stronger, as long as they receive the right stimulus. When an older person stops using their legs, the body interprets this as a command and begins shutting those systems down. This process is called learned inactivity. It creates a dangerous cycle. Less movement leads to muscle atrophy, which leads to insecurity and fear of falling, which causes even less movement. In this way, many people lose strength not simply because they are aging, but because their legs are no longer being challenged. A study published in the journal Age and Aging observed adults as old as 90 who began doing light, guided leg-strengthening exercises under supervision. The results were remarkable. More than 80% of them regained strength, balance, and the ability to walk safely for longer distances. And all of this happened in just a few short weeks. This is why, alongside the simple exercises I mentioned earlier, my main advice to anyone who struggles with this issue is to start each day with a very simple question. What can I do today to prove to myself that I still have control over my legs? The answer doesn't need to be complicated. You could walk to the front gate and back. You could stand for just 5 seconds without support. You could slowly step down from a single step with focus and confidence. Another powerful habit is to keep a small notebook or even a simple note on the refrigerator where you write, "Today I moved. Today I did not give up." This may sound like a small gesture, but it changes your mental outlook. It rebuilds your sense of confidence because the most dangerous form of paralysis in old age is not physical. It is emotional. So if you feel like your legs are getting weaker, start breaking that mental barrier right now. Do not wait until you feel strong to start moving. Move first, and strength will follow. Now that you know the 6 most common mistakes that silently weaken your legs as you age, it is time to make a change. The truth is, none of these mistakes need to remain part of your life. You can rebuild good habits, reactivate your muscles, and nourish your body properly. The power to do this is entirely in your hands. No magic pills and no expensive treatments are required. And so, to finish, I want to share something very special with you. This is a natural recipe that I personally use every single day, and it has helped me keep my legs strong and my circulation healthy even after 90 years of life. It's a simple, energizing blend made with ingredients you can easily find. Half of a fresh raw beet, grated just before use. The juice of 1 fresh orange, 1 teaspoon. Of freshly grated ginger, a pinch of ground turmeric, 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. Mix everything in a glass. Stir well and drink it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. At least 5 times a week. There is real science behind this. Beets help raise nitric oxide levels, widening blood vessels and improving circulation to the muscles. Oranges are rich in vitamin C, which protects blood vessels and improves iron absorption. Ginger and turmeric work together to fight inflammation that silently weakens your strength. And olive oil helps your body absorb all of these powerful nutrients. This has become my daily ritual. A small morning gift to my body, preparing it for movement, and giving me the energy to stay active throughout the day. And when you combine this tonic with simple actions like standing up from a chair, without using your hands, taking an extra walk, and practicing proper posture, the results will come. Your circulation will improve, your legs will feel lighter and more stable, and most importantly, your confidence will return. If this message touched you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone in your family, someone who is losing strength in their legs and thinks it's just a normal part of getting older. It's not. Sharing this video could mean the difference between a dangerous fall and a fresh new start, between losing independence and walking with confidence again. And if you've made it this far, I'd love to see you write in the comments, "It's still possible." This isn't just a comment, it's a reminder, a personal commitment, a signal that you still believe. Your body is capable of responding, improving, and rebuilding, no matter your age. I can guarantee this because at 92, I am still standing strong, not because of luck, but because of a decision I made, and you can make that decision too. It all starts with a choice, and that choice can be made right now. Until the next video, take care of yourself. I'm sending you a big, warm hug. Beep!